The Menendez family was the American dream in motion. Jose Menendez, a Cuban immigrant who became a self-made millionaire. Kitty, a loving mother and devoted wife. Their sons, Lyle and Eric, had it all. Private schools, tennis lessons, Rolexes. But no one knew what hid behind the polished doors of 722 North Elm Drive. August 20, 1989. Kitty and Jose were relaxing in the den, watching a movie. At 10:45 p.m., the silence was shattered. Lyle and Eric entered the room, carrying 12-gauge shotguns.
Beverly Hills emergency.
Yes, police.
What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem?
Someone killed my parents.
Pardon me?
Someone killed my parents.
What? Who? Are they still there?
Yes.
The people...
No.
Were they shot?
Hey, man, too.
Were they shot?
Yes.
They were shot?
Yes.
102 response, 722 North Elm on a
What happened? Hey, stay there, man.
I have a hysterical person on. We're trying to get screened further. Other units responding. Is the person still there?
What happened? We have units around. What happened? Who shot who? I don't hear anything. I just came home. You came home and found who shot? My mom and dad.
You know if they're still in the house, the people that did the shooting.
Get away from him. Okay. Hey, let me talk to Eric. Who is the person that was shot? My mom and my dad. Your mom and dad? My mom and my dad. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, we're on our way over there with the ambulance. Okay, I gotta go. Okay.
Oh.
Hello, this is police department. Yes. Okay, I want you to come outside. Okay, just come out the front door and my brother.
They emptied both shotguns. Jose was hit in the back of the head, point blank, his face obliterated. Kitty tried to run. She slipped. They shot her in the leg, the arm, the chest. She crawled on the floor, bleeding, until the final blast ended her life. At 11:47 p.m., Lyle called 911. He was breathless, hysterical. The dispatcher tried to get information, but Lyle just cried over and over. Someone killed my parents. Police arrived within minutes. The brothers were sobbing, collapsed on the front lawn, but something didn't feel right. The crying was too loud. The story, too clean. In the weeks that followed, the Menendez brothers did not grieve. They spent $15,000 on Rolex watches, $40,000 on a Porsche. Eric hired a personal tennis coach. Lyle opened a restaurant. Within 6 months, over $700,000 was gone. But the truth was crumbling. Eric confessed to his therapist. "We did it. We killed them." The therapist's girlfriend overheard. She went to police. The boys were arrested in March 1990, and what followed was the trial of the century. The defense told a different story. The brothers weren't greedy murderers. They were victims of years of sexual abuse, emotional torment, fear. They said their parents weren't perfect. They were predators. The brothers didn't murder for money. They murdered to survive. In 1996, after 2 mistrials, the jury found them guilty.
Started to scream. It was awful, and I couldn't handle what I was seeing.
Do you recall hearing the 9/11 tape that was played?
Yes.
Were you in the room with your brother when he was calling the police?
No.
Were you on the same floor of the house?
No.
Where were you when, to the best of your knowledge, your brother was calling the police?
You called the police?
Call the police.
Is that the 911 tape that's been played here in
Right.
court?
Right.
And on that tape, you're crying.
Yes.
Was that real?
Yes.
Why were you crying?
Why?
What was upsetting you?
Just the shock. Just not believing that this was happening to me.
Lyle and Eric Menendez were sentenced to life in prison without parole, locked away, side by side in a California penitentiary, still claiming they were victims, still dividing the public. They were born into wealth, surrounded by privilege, but inside their home was a storm no one could see, and when it finally broke, the world watched in horror. 2 sons, 2 shotguns, and 1 lie that unraveled it all. What if someone told you they killed their parents and then asked you to come party at their house? What if you went and the bodies were still inside? That's exactly what happened. In a quiet Florida neighborhood in 2011. Tyler Hadley was 17. He lived in a small 1-story home in Port St. Lucie, Florida. He wasn't exactly popular, but he had friends. His parents, Blake and Mary Jo, were strict but supportive. They were trying to straighten him out. What they didn't know was that their son had been planning something monstrous. At around 4:30 p.m., Tyler made his move. He took a hammer, walked up behind his mother while she worked on the computer, and swung. Again and again, until her skull caved in. Then, he waited for his father to come home. Blake Hadley walked through the door, expecting dinner. Instead, Tyler attacked him too. He beat both bodies beyond recognition, dragged them to the master bedroom, and threw towels, books, and trash over them. Less than an hour later, Tyler posted on Facebook, "Party at my crib tonight. Maybe." Word spread fast. Soon, over 60 teenagers showed up to the Hadley house. Drinking, laughing, dancing. All while, just feet away, the bodies of his parents were hidden under a pile of junk in the next room. The house was dim. The master bedroom was locked. Some guests said it smelled strange. Others noticed Tyler seemed off, nervous, sweaty. But no one asked questions. Not until later. Sometime around 1 a.m., Tyler pulled his best friend aside. He said, "I did something bad." Michael laughed it off, but Tyler wasn't joking. He led him to the master bedroom. Michael looked down and saw a bloody foot sticking out from under a pile of clothes.
It's not an emergency, just it kind of is. Just someone had a party tonight, and someone reported that this kid had killed their parents.
He told me that the kid got up, and he was like, he told me that, like, the gist of it, that he did something to his parents, and I was like, bro, I don't want to know any details. He said he already called and reported everything to Crime Stoppers. I was just calling because I felt like I needed to.
Michael left. He called Crime Stoppers, and just after sunrise, police arrived at 371 Northeast Grandeur Avenue. Tyler was arrested on the front lawn. The hammer was still in the house. Blood everywhere. He showed no remorse. In fact, he told police he had been planning it for weeks. He waited until he was alone, hid his parents' phones. And then, it was time. Tyler was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. He was tried as an adult and sentenced to life in prison without parole. In court, he never cried. He just stared. The Hadley house has since been torn down. The street is quiet now. But everyone in Port St. Lucie remembers that night. The party, the smell, the secret in the bedroom. A teenage boy who invited the whole world over to dance over death. Some families wear masks, carefully curated smiles, picture-perfect vacations. But what if it's all a lie? On March 26, 2018, a maroon SUV was found at the bottom of a 100-foot cliff in Mendocino County, California. Inside were 2 adults and 3 children. 3 other children were missing, but there were no skid marks, no signs of braking, just one horrifying question. Why did this family drive off a cliff? Jen and Sarah Hart were a white couple from Minnesota. They adopted 6 black children from Texas foster care. On social media, they were heroes. Progressive, loving, inspirational. They called themselves the Hart Tribe. Jen ran their Facebook page, filled with emotional posts and carefully staged family portraits. She wrote about love, activism, and healing. But that was only half the story. In private, the children were hungry, isolated, silenced. Teachers noticed bruises. One child had missing teeth. They were homeschooled, so few outsiders saw them. In 2008, Sarah was charged with misdemeanor domestic assault for hitting one of the girls with a belt. The children told authorities they were punished by being starved for days. They said they were spanked, beaten, and forced to lie on the floor for hours. Still, the children remained in the home. In 2014, Devonte Hart, one of the boys, was photographed at a Portland protest. A tear streamed down his face as he hugged a white police officer. The photo went viral. Jen used it to paint the family as symbols of peace and unity. What no one knew, Devonte had begged the officer for help just days earlier. He was starving and terrified. In 2017, things broke. One night, at 1 a.m., one of the girls jumped out of her second-story window. She ran barefoot to a neighbor's house. She was trembling. She said, "Please don't tell my moms. They beat us. They don't feed us." Days later, Devonte came to the same neighbor, asking for food, every day for a week. The neighbors called CPS, but by the time CPS arrived, the Hart family was gone. The family fled Washington State. They drove over 500 miles south. GPS data showed strange detours. They avoided populated areas. Then came Jen's Google searches. Is death by drowning painful? How many Benadryl will it take to kill a child? Can a broken neck kill instantly? She looked up, how to make a car crash look like an accident. The night before the crash, the kids were given massive doses of Benadryl, enough to knock them out, or worse. March 26, 2018, 3 a.m. The maroon SUV